I don't know about you guys, but all this filming of all these exercises and repeating these movements is making my core muscles a little bit stiff and tight. And the muscles around my hips and knees and arms and shoulders are also getting a little bit tight. So what I want to do is show you guys how to do the foam roller. Foam roller is one of the best things you can do in terms of recovery and for your muscles, right? Your muscles, they get used up, they activate, they get tight, they get stuck in certain positions. Okay, so when we do the foam roller, we're unsticking them from those positions. And when muscles get stuck in positions, energy doesn't flow through there as well, so your tissue suffers. You're not as healthy in that area where there's not as much energy flow, obviously. And then, your brain also gets affected. When you're stuck in a position and you can't move freely and you don't feel like moving, then your brain also starts thinking in a certain way. It's not as fluid. It doesn't think as clearly and as focused. It's not as happy, right? So this is part of resetting your brain and your mind as well. When we go into this, we're thinking this is as much for our brain and our thinking patterns as it is for our muscles and the need for them to be longer. Okay, so this is all about relaxing those muscles and also gaining awareness for where we have stuck muscles and where we have pain, right? Because if I have pain in a certain area, there's a reason for that. You go over and you're kind of rolling over your areas and saying, is this area okay? Does this area feel like it's unnecessarily tight? And then if it is, then you have to say, why am I getting this tightness in this area? You overused it, either due to it not being used before and then you all of a sudden used it, or you've been using it a lot chronically and it's just done with being used. Okay, so there's the acute pain and then there's the long-term pain. And the acute pain is a little bit easier to get rid of than the long-term stuck muscles, the ones that have been protecting themselves for a while, the ones that have been stuck in the same position for a long time. Those are the ones we got to spend a little bit more time on to get back. And those are the ones that will cause problems for us down the line if we don't get after them and release those muscles. All right, so how does this work? As you can see, it's a roller. And you roll on it, right? But there's a specific way to do it, okay? So first of all, you always want to try to think about mostly going towards your heart. Now, of course, if you go back and roll back and forth, you can think, okay, that doesn't make sense because now I'm going away and not towards, away, towards. When you put the heavy pressure, when you start out especially, you want to start going towards the heart, okay? Nice and slow in the beginning. And then kind of make sure that you emphasize that there's more time pushing towards the heart, right? And knowing which way the muscles run throughout your body also helps, because you want to go up and down along those muscles, not side to side on muscles. Okay, so for example, the muscles of my legs, most of them run pretty vertical. Okay, and that's the way that I want to roll my legs here vertically this way instead of rolling side to side across them. Okay. Now when we get into the back here, the muscles in the back, some of them run up and down. We get in between the shoulder blades, these guys run side to side. So a lot of times when you're wanting to roll these guys out, in your inner back muscles, here you roll them side to side, okay? This way, that way you're not going across a bunch of different muscle groups. You're going on one muscle and you're staying on that muscle, right? You're going up the length of that muscle is basically what you want to think about, okay? So, especially in your legs, it's pretty simple. In your back, things start to get crisscrossed and a lot of that stuff. But in your foam roller, choosing a foam roller in the beginning, especially, sorry I didn't mention this in the beginning, but you want to choose a soft one that doesn't feel like it's killing you. Okay, so for this one's a little bit too soft for me. I might need to get my partner, she has one with spikes and it's smaller and it's much more vicious than this guy. But yeah, pick one that's easy and doesn't hurt, and make sure you go through all your different muscle areas. So a lot of times I'll set the clock for 3 minutes, And I'll say work on my back area for 3 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna work on each leg for 3 minutes. Okay, and then like say I'm gonna work on my upper back 3 minutes. Work on my side and my chest. All right, and these are just all the different positions. You can get creative, find a way to get pressure on these muscles. Right now, notice my chest muscles run side to side, and that's how I'm going to foam roll these guys side to side. Okay. Yep. So again, rolling nice and slow. And this is where I'll kind of go through an area first, rolling it nice and easy and not being too heavy on it. But then when I find a spot right here in my ribs, it feels kind of worse than the other parts, and it kind of makes me tighten up, then I want to go after that part. Okay, this is going to be a little bit uncomfortable, but you know, it's good for you and you will feel much better afterwards. Okay, so knowing that you don't want to make this too uncomfortable, because then you won't feel good afterwards. You're going to bruise yourself and you're going to hurt. But if you make it feel a little bit uncomfortable, then you're going to reap a lot of rewards in the future. Okay, so for this right here, this is an uncomfortable spot for me. I'm going to hold it for 10 seconds. I'm going to go after this and intentionally think about lengthening that muscle, right? Let that thing turn to mush. Make that muscle totally relaxed. Allow the foam roller to completely penetrate that muscle and go all the way to the bone without any pain, right? And now that I did that, I went through a couple of deep breaths and I thought of that action. Now this area is going to give me a lot less trouble when I'm going through my movement, right? And when I'm going throughout my day, I'm going to feel a lot better because I'm able to move freely. All right. Now that's just been mostly my back. When I go down to my legs, remember I want to hit all the sides. I'll go around it and up and down as if I want to make sure that if this thing had paint on it, that I would paint every part of my leg, okay? This is, I mean, you see those paint rollers? Imagine there's a bunch of paint on this paint roller right there. That's a tricky spot for me. We'll do that one in 10 seconds. Breathe in, asking the muscle, hey Mr. Muscle, why are you so tight? Why are you so uptight? Can you relax, please? And then we move on, get the next area. You start all the way up, go all the way down, paint the whole area. And this groin can be a little bit tricky, but you know, again, just figure out a way to get that rolling in there. And one thing here, when we do this, this is a long stretch on this muscle, and there's a lot of attachment points on this back of the leg in particular when you get towards the groin. Okay, so just be careful in this right here. Okay, if it's too much pressure, you can do both legs at once, but really it's better if you isolate one leg and try to get as a good amount of pressure. Not as much pressure as you can, especially on the hamstring, but everywhere. Okay, make sure that you get the calves here, getting all the areas. Everything needs to be rolled out. My feet, ankles. That's a trouble spot. Relax. If your face is tense when you're doing this foam rolling, then you need to set the pressure back, okay? Because anything that's making your face go tense, and you're starting to get that, you're not getting the fluid face, but you're getting the other face that's not so nice looking. When you get to that point, that's when you need to step it back, okay? So when you know you're stretching too much or you're foam rolling too much is when your other muscles, your face muscles, your rib muscles, all your other muscles start tightening up. That's when it's time to step back the intensity, okay? And then if you're excessively sore,
for a day, more than a day, and you're really having trouble getting back into that, then you realize next time we need to pull the intensity back just a little bit, right? We want to work through soreness, but we don't want to cause ourselves excessive soreness, and we don't want to create damaging traumatic events in our body and our brain for our memories and for our scar tissue, okay? And so that being said, this is all about breaking up that scar tissue gently and in a good way that we're trying to move energy through there. Okay, so now, and this, again, this can be a warm-up, this can be after exercise activity. You can do this, if you're careful and you're smart about it, you can do this as just a plain recovery activity. I encourage including this in your daily habits. At least in your weekly practices, spend at least 30 minutes once a week, if not, a couple minutes every day, getting this foam roller in. But remember, this is going to happen. This is how you're going to also be able to move more energy and break up some of the fat in your tissues, in your skin. It needs pressure on it. Okay, so I know that's a big one for people. That's the main reason you're here, is to lose your fat. But that's one of the benefits of detoxing and performing better, is that when we break up all these old tissues and stuff like that, the fascia, the membranes and everything that is kind of stuck, then we're much better off. All right, so thank you. Have a good day.